Just when we thought we had finally caught our breath after the emotional gut punch that was the 1923 finale, the Yellowstone universe hits us with another game changer. Get ready to saddle up again because a brand new chapter is about to unfold, and it promises to be more powerful, more intense, and more unforgettable than anything we've seen before. Welcome to 1944, the next prequel series, already deep in production and stirring up serious buzz among fans and insiders alike. If you were glued to every twist and tragedy in 1923, if you felt every loss, every sacrifice, every ounce of pain the Duttons endured, then prepare yourself, because 1944 isn't just a continuation. It's a reckoning, a return to a family bloodline shaped by hardship and history, now thrust into the chaos of one of the most turbulent times in human history, the final years of World War II. And here's where it gets even more interesting. 1944 won't just introduce new characters, it'll bring back familiar ones we've come to love and lose sleep over, now older, changed by time, trauma, and the unrelenting burden of legacy. Expect to see some of those same faces from 1923, only this time, the stakes are even higher, and the emotional toll is far greater. Insiders are already calling 1944 the most emotional installment of the Yellowstone saga yet. Hard to believe after what 1923 put us through, right? But think about it: wartime decisions, generational divides, PTSD shifting loyalties, and a world on the brink all set against the unforgiving beauty of the American West. We're not just talking cattle and land disputes here. We're talking about survival, sacrifice, and the weight of carrying a family name through the darkest hours of the 20th century. Will Spencer Dutton return as the war-hardened anchor of the family? Will new heirs rise or fall? And how will the ghosts of the past shape the future of the Yellowstone Ranch? So what do we know so far? What secrets are already surfacing? And what can we expect from a story set during one of history's most defining eras? Stick around, because 1944 might just be the chapter that redefines everything we thought we knew about the Dutton legacy. As you may recall, though, let's be honest, it's hard to forget the 1923 finale hit us like a freight train. The series delivered gut-wrenching losses that reshaped not just the Dutton family, but the entire trajectory of the Yellowstone universe. Jack Dutton met a violent end at the hands of Clyde, while Alexandra's death, an agonizing result of frostbite and necrosis following childbirth, was a quiet, devastating blow. Two powerful, promising lives gone in the blink of an eye, leaving behind a void that can't easily be filled. These weren't just characters we lived with them. We watched them fall in love under Montana skies, stand tall in the face of danger, and build a future out of grit and hope. Then, just as swiftly, we watched those dreams come undone in the cruelest of ways. The Dutton family didn't just lose lives, they lost legends. And with each fallen name, the weight of the ranch and everything it represents grew heavier. Yes, Jacob and Kara Dutton survived, but their time feels like it's nearing its sunset. Their journey etched in hardship, resilience, and a fierce kind of love has been nothing short of epic. And while their story seems to be drawing to a graceful, poignant close, their presence will echo across whatever comes next. Their legacy isn't fading, it's becoming myth. So what does that mean for 1944? One thing's certain: the era of Jacob, Jack, Alexandra, and likely Kara is over. That chapter is closed. Now all eyes turn to Spencer Dutton, the haunted, hardened younger brother whose fate has always felt like a question mark waiting to be answered. And thanks to Elsa's final voiceover, we now know he lives another 45 years. That would place him in his mid to late 50s during 1944. That detail, it changes everything. Spencer, forged in war, grief, and exile, might finally return to Montana. Not as the broken man we last saw, but as the man he was always meant to become. wiser, stronger, ready. The kind of man who could carry the Dutton name into a new era and maybe, just maybe, heal what's been broken. Whispers are already flying that 1944 will center around Spencer. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. He's poised to inherit the ranch, and if anyone can shoulder that burden, it's him. If you're a Spencer Dutton fan, and let's be real, who isn't? This is the moment we've been waiting for. Now for the cherry on top, rumor has it Kurt Russell might step into the Yellowstone universe as older Spencer. Just imagine that. Brandon Sklenar has given us a fierce and unforgettable young Spencer in 1923, but to carry Spencer through his 50s, you need an actor who can bring gravitas, soul, and that signature Dutton edge. Kurt Russell would be nothing short of legendary. So what do you think? Is Spencer coming home at last? Will 1944 give us the closure we crave or crack open a whole new frontier of Dutton drama? One thing's for sure, the story of the Duttons is far from over. In fact, it might just be getting started. As much as I'm mourning the loss of so many 1923 characters, I'm holding on to the hope that Tiana Rainwater will have a significant role in 1944. Her journey in 1923 was incredibly tough, and at the end of the series, she finally found a bit of freedom but had no clear direction. There was mention of Mexico and California, and it seems likely that she might head to Mexico. That would explain why Thomas Rainwater, in Yellowstone, originally believed he was of Mexican descent. Wherever Tiana ends up, one thing is certain: her story is far from over. To abandon her arc now would be a disservice to one of the most compelling and courageous characters introduced in 1923. She doesn't need to be geographically close to the Duttons to be narratively connected to them. In fact, throughout 1923, her path barely crossed with theirs, and yet her presence was unforgettable, her journey vital. So why not take a bold step and continue Tiana's path in 1944? Imagine her still in Mexico, surviving against all odds, possibly becoming a protector, a leader, or even a revolutionary figure among her people. Picture her journey northward back to the American West, drawn by justice or revenge, or a search for peace. That path could eventually lead her to Montana and perhaps even to a spiritual or ancestral connection with Thomas Rainwater in the main Yellowstone timeline. Could Tiana be one of Rainwater's ancestors? It's not only plausible, it would be poetic. And let's not forget about Elizabeth Dutton, whose storyline ended with a quiet but powerful sense of uncertainty. Pregnant, widowed, and shattered by grief, she was last seen planning to return to Boston, trying to escape the brutality she witnessed on the ranch. But her story doesn't have to end in exile. She's carrying Jack's child and unborn heir to the Dutton legacy. That child represents a fragile hope, a continuation of a lineage that was nearly snuffed out. Even if Elizabeth never returns to Montana, her son might. There's growing speculation that her child will eventually make his way back to Yellowstone Ranch, perhaps as a young man determined to claim his place in the family history. Some rumors suggest his return won't be peaceful, that conflict with Spencer's son could ignite a fierce rivalry. There are even whispers of betrayal and bloodshed, a cousin turned enemy, a power struggle that ends with one Dutton killing another to take control of the ranch. Dramatic, absolutely, but totally in line with the legacy of heartbreak and power, plays that define the Yellowstone saga. In that sense, Jack's bloodline may not just survive, it might dominate the future. His child could grow to be one of the most pivotal figures in the Dutton family tree, carrying the fire and determination of both his parents. What makes this even more exciting is the possibility of seeing the original 1923 cast return to these roles. Brandon Sklenar, who has delivered a deeply nuanced portrayal of Spencer Dutton, has expressed a strong interest in continuing the character's story. He's even suggested that 1944 could show an older Spencer taking on a mentorship role, possibly to his son John, who was born during the finale. That passing of the torch would be incredibly powerful. As Sklenar himself said, "I think someone's got to teach that kid how to ride a horse and shoot a gun." It's not just a great line, it's a mission statement. It's Spencer stepping into the role of patriarch, protector, and teacher. Amina Neves and Michelle Randolph, who brought Tiana and Elizabeth to life with raw emotion and quiet strength, are also eager to return. Both actresses have publicly said they're open to aging up their characters to fit into the 1944 timeline. That kind of continuity, watching these women evolve, grow stronger, and confront a new world, is exactly what fans are craving. The beauty of Yellowstone and its prequels is how they blend legacy with reinvention. Characters aren't just remembered, they're reborn in new timelines, with new challenges and deeper arcs. And if 1944 continues that tradition, we're in for something unforgettable. Let me know if you'd like this adapted into a teaser post, an email blast, or even a voiceover script. Happy to tweak the format for your next content piece. With the actors on board, you're already halfway to making the show happen, in my opinion. And let's be honest, actors don't usually say things like that unless something's in the works. So, as we look ahead to 1944, it's clear Spencer, Tiana, and Elizabeth are each poised to carve out their own unforgettable paths, their stories bound together by love, loss, and legacy. With World War I raging in the background, we're not just in for a history lesson, we're in for a deeply human journey. One filled with sacrifice, resilience, and the kind of raw emotional stakes that only the Duttons can deliver. Imagine it, Spencer and his son, two generations shaped by war, standing at the crossroads of identity and legacy. Healing won't come easy, but it might come at last. And if 1923 taught us anything, it's that 1944 will hit us where it hurts and where it heals. Before we wrap, I just want to say thank you. Truly, whether you've been here since the beginning or just joined the ride, your support, your theories, and your passion fuel everything I do. This community, it's something special, and it means the world to have you in it. If this breakdown sparked something in you, if it made you think, feel, or even gasp out loud, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more. We've got plenty more deep dives, wild theories, and Yellowstone secrets to uncover together. And hey, before you go, check out the video on screen. You might just stumble across a detail that changes everything. Until next time, stay curious, stay wild, and as always, keep riding with the Duttons.